Welcome back to the Dibley Diaries this week. It's Easter Day. Happy Easter to you all. I wonder which church activities you may have been involved with or have seen in your church communities this weekend. They vary very much from place to place. We've been for a long walk on Good Friday. People will have decorated our church buildings with flowers, having had no flowers during Lent. There may have been an Easter fire where you lived. There may have been a dawn service for this morning. There may have been all sorts of things which are your church traditions. Might have been Easter gardens, all sorts of things. I wonder which of these you've spotted or taken part in. And I have been thinking a little bit this week about the Easter Bunny edition episode of the Vicar of Dibley, and I would recommend it to you because I think it shows a lot about some really positive aspects of village and church community life. We have a response which we can use at Easter, which says, "Christ is risen, he is risen indeed, Alleluia." So I pray that you have had a really blessed and happy Easter. I had been thinking about recycling a sermon from my Easter sermons piles for this year, but I was at a service where the bishop was preaching on Thursday this week, and the bishop put something in, just a little thing, which made me change my mind and made me think about things from a slightly different way. I wonder what the most amazing thing is that you can think of, or what sort of things that you are amazed by. Things that you are amazed by, I guess, are anything which is not what you're expecting, or something which is beyond your understanding, or that you are still kind of shocked works, that kind of thing. I mean, although I've been using emails for years and years, and just about the turn of the century I was sending a fax to New Zealand, and I was still amazed with fax machines that you put the paper in and at the same time on the other side of the world a machine was printing out your letter to the recipient. I found that amazing for years. And now, of course, people under 25 don't really know what a fax machine is, certainly won't have used one. But there are all sorts of things in life which can be amazing. When we come to the Easter story, there are lots of people who find themselves amazed. This year, in our church setting, we use the Matthew 28, 1-10 reading, where the women go to the tomb, there's an earthquake, they encounter an angel, the guards fall down, the angel tells them to go and tell the disciples, the women encounter Jesus and then go on to tell the disciples. It's a scene which is full of unexpected things happening and people who are amazed by what is going on. So the women, grieving the loss of Jesus, go to the tomb. The Matthew version doesn't say if they have spices or not, just says that they're going to the tomb. And then there's an earthquake, which is, on one level, quite an amazing thing. And then the angel appears, bright like lightning. The angel rolls the stone away and sits on it. A bit like a mic drop moment, you know. I've come down, I've moved the stone, done. And the soldiers are more than just amazed. They shake and they are like dead men, is what's described. And I've always assumed that that just meant that they fell over, but this week I've been thinking about it a bit more in military terms. These guards were bringing first century military might to stop anybody doing what the angel had just done and moving the stone. And God had sent the equivalent of a laser drone strike. The angel had moved the stone at the tomb, and was just there, you know. if this was going to be a military encounter, then they were indeed dead men. And then the angel speaks to the women, which in some ways is amazing and exciting in itself, not to the men, not to the soldiers, just speaks to the women and tells them what has happened, gives them instructions. They are amazed by this, and it says that they are filled with joy and fear, but they hurry off to do what has been asked for them by the angel. And then they bump into Jesus. Jesus is there, he greets them, they worship at his feet, they're so amazed, and then he tells them again to do what the angel said, to go and tell the disciples what had happened. So this story is full of people who are amazed. And sometimes I wonder if we have lost a little bit of our amazement at the Easter story. Nobody was expecting what happened on Easter Day, even and perhaps especially the people that Jesus had been trying to explain it to. Nobody was expecting what happened at Easter, and everyone was amazed. But have we lost some of that amazement? Have we got tired? We're very familiar with the story. Do we get distracted at what's going on in our lives? But I think it's good for us to spend some time being amazed, and being amazed this Easter. So now you're probably wondering, what did the bishop say? Well, it was really a bit of an aside in the bishop's sermon. The bishop quoted a song by a lady called Olivia Lane, and it simply said this: "That is why grace is so amazing. That is why grace is so amazing." So let us be amazed this Easter. Let us be amazed and ready to meet the risen Christ. So this week's Dibley Moment of the Week is based on something which happened in one of the church communities in which I was working. It was our tradition in that place that at the very beginning of the service people would bring up symbols of the events of Holy Week. They'd start off with Palm Sunday, and we'd have a giant palm leaf that was brought up, really big palm leaf, and then we would have a bowl and a towel to think about Maundy Thursday, and maybe a cup and a plate to think about the Last Supper. Then we'd have a symbol for the crucifixion, and then we'd light the giant Easter candle to remember the dawn, the light of Jesus having been discovered as risen on that sunrise on Easter Day. So one year we had done this, we'd lit the big candle and we had the big palm frond, and then someone at the back was watching carefully as the palm frond was slipping gradually towards the Paschal candle, slipping, and was in contact with the candle. This person fortunately went and grabbed the palm just as it was literally about to catch on fire. There can be a lot of fire around at Easter time, so we need to remember that it's great to have candles and it's great to have an Easter fire, but really it's good not to set your whole building on fire at the same time. That's it for the Dibley Diaries for this week, and I pray that you and your village, however large or small, have a really blessed week.